So today I just want to introduce everyone to Alex Tripod. She's an international speaker, best-selling author, and all sorts of other things. But the best thing that I love about what I've seen from you is the fact that you are a manifestation coach, Alex. I've watched you wanting to raise the vibe from people. And I think for me, the coming across you, it's been maybe the last 3 months, I think, since being back in Aussie. I've just seen your ads. You have a fantastic 21-day challenge that I've seen going out there. And you seem to me to be just such a powerful force on video. And so I was compelled, Alex, to reach out and say, especially on recommendation of our friend Rachel and a few other people, to get you on the show. So welcome. It's good to start off this way on a podcast. I think
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, let's start off with you. Let's start off with you. Why don't you share a little bit about who you are, what it is that you do,
Yeah.
and who you help, those sort of things.
Yeah, awesome. God, like you can go so many ways here, right? But I'm going to try and give the most interesting answer for listeners. And in a nutshell, what I'm truly passionate about is really helping people understand that the relationship between their physical selves, their human vessel, this 3D illusion we live in, and their non-physical self is the most important relationship one will ever have in their entire life. And when you can nail this relationship and, start looking at your programming frequency, emotional frequency, internal guidance system, internal and external languaging, everything starts to shift and you start remembering who you are. And I think that's where the magic starts to happen. And it's all good and well that I can just say, I help people manifest stuff in their life. Yeah, cool, absolutely. More clients, more money, business growth, blah, blah, blah. But the most fulfilling thing that my clients actually receive is that expansion, that realization that they're more than just this flesh and blood and bones. And that's what makes me excited to get up out of bed every day, Chris.
It's interesting, isn't it, that you say the connection between the physical and the non-physical is the most important. Why do you think it's the most important?
Yeah, cool. Good question. For me, I guess it's because that's when sort of everything started shifting, and I was up until probably 30, looking at everything externally to make me happy. And for me, it's like I'll help people raise their vibration and looking at our vibration, everything in the world, like it's like what is real, and so when I say non-physical, when you look at matter, people think that's dense, it's real, but really it's just two subatomic particles moving very quickly together, creating a shape, and that creates something like us, like this laptop, like an iPhone. And so for me, understanding what makes up the universe, which is 99.00.
Do you think it's even two subatomic particles? Is there even two?
Well, that's what scientists has found at
I find it fascinating. It feels
level so far. So I don't know. I'm not Einstein, but so far that's what they've discovered.
I studied it a lot, as you know, and as my listeners know, and I feel as though I was studying the Seam Haramain from the Resonance Foundation, and he's talking about the quartz and going right down into how it all works and it understands. And isn't it crazy to think that it's actually just light bending in different ways, reflecting off itself? Like it's what we actually are is light, the deeper you go.
Yeah. And even like I'm reading a book at the moment called You Are the Universe, and it's Deepak Chopra with this Greek scientist at the moment. So it's combining science and spirituality, and they're talking about like the photons, and there's no such thing as light, and there's no light in our eyes. And I was like fucking mind boggled, and I love that shit. And that's why I think it's so crazy. Like we can't restrict ourselves to this is real, because everything we're seeing, like what even is reality? So that's why I think it's the most important relationship, because when you can link them up and start listening and having that intuition and letting those emotions guide you, usually I'm going to say that's what guides you to like a more fulfilling life.
Yeah, I think that's true. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna go deep.
I'm
I
scared.
love where
I'm scared, Chris.
this is going already, because like, to me, when I think about those things, and I understand and look, okay, well, what is it? I realize just how much I don't know. And that's the interesting thing, because it feels as though the more you look, the more you find. And what is above, so below, and everything else. It's a big, big, big,
Hmm.
big thing to understand. And that's a good book by Deepak. I'll put that in the show notes for
Yeah.
everyone else.
I think as well, it's like, yeah, it's when you go down this rabbit hole, I've learned that the more you know, the more you don't know. That's my first thing. And the
Yeah.
second thing is like, when you start understanding just how powerful you are, you feel so significant because you are the creator of your own reality, and you are literally creating when you observe. And you also feel so insignificant. You're like a flea on a rock orbiting through space, and you're a blip of a blip of a blip. Like, what
Yeah.
even is this? So you've got that polarity of oh, like, why do I even bother doing a business or making life on the planet? Does that
It
make
hit
sense?
me. Part of my story, we built a $5 million company, then lost it. And I just realized how unimportant most of the things were that I was going for. But I love what you just said. You're creating when you observe. You're
Mm.
creating when you observe. Let's dive in around that. What exactly do you mean by we're creating when we observe? Because I think a
Yeah,
lot of the people
cool.
listening would like to know.
Yeah, cool. So, um, basically, in a nutshell, it's really going around, expanding around. I think it's Dr. Wayne Dyer that said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And
Hmm.
so it's called the observer effect, where we have to start taking radical responsibility. The way you actually observe the atom, the subatomic particle, will actually make up your reality. The way you observe what you believe, what you think, what you feel about money, that will dictate the number in your bank account, where most people will look at it and react. And so then that perpetuates the victim cycle, where they're reacting
Hmm.
instead of stepping into their power. So
Hmm.
if we take that even further, I don't even kind of don't want to go here, but I'm going to. It's like, so many people are like, how can we change the world? How can we change poverty? How can we change war? It's like, well, let's stop charging the emotion of all this shit and stop charging that frequency, because we can actually take radical responsibility by changing the way we look at that and how it makes us respond, because that keeps emitting the same fucking vibration and keeps creating the same cycle.
Got it. And I can't agree more. That you obviously would know of the double split experiment
Mm-hmm.
around all of this. And I think it's an important thing for our listeners to really understand just how deep this is.
Yeah.
So do you want to give a crack at it, or do you want me to?
I'm going to handball that to you, because I've been reading a lot of documentaries on it, and I'm like, okay,
It's huge. It's over 100 years old. And what these scientists were doing is they had a tiny little gun shooting photons out through the gun, and they had a slit where the photon would be able to go through, and on the other side of it they had a photogenic I guess wall. And I'll put a link to it. There's a beautiful YouTube video about this.
yeah,
And every time it hit the wall, there was a sound, but also it would make a light on it, because
yeah,
it was obviously a photon, and it would show up like photo. And so what was interesting is they would observe it, they would look at it, and they could change where the gun was angled, and surely that's where it would go. So then what was interesting is they actually then left the room, and they end up having two slits there. So that's why it's called the double split experiment. It's
mm-hmm.
absolutely famous, because what happened was, when they left, on the back wall, instead of just being, the photon either went through this hole or this hole, or didn't get through a split, which is how it should go, right?
Yeah,
If you're shooting a ball at a
probability, yeah,
like a piece of wood with two lines in it, either
mm-hmm.
goes through or misses, right? So
Yes,
it doesn't get through. Well, what they found once they left and they weren't looking at it is that on the back wall it went dark and then light, and dark and then light, and then dark and then light. And the
and there was like
only way that it
lines,
could have
yeah,
done that, yeah, is because it went through as a wave.
yeah,
And so what they realized is that light doesn't act as a particle, it acts as a wave. And the function of consciousness, actually observing it, collapses it into what we and what you called before a particle.
Yeah.
Our observe, we want it to be physical, so we collapse it. And so
Great
literally,
explanation. I love it. And I think as well, what I find fascinating is that
yeah,
depending on the scientist that was actually observing it would actually affect where it would land. I'm like, wow, that's insane.
most people that have ever experienced children know this, right? You know, like when you're watching them, they act one way.
Yeah.
Then you're not watching them, all the rules go out the window.
Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
And so just to affirm what you were saying, it's crucial to understand that, you know, we actually impact matter by the way that we observe it.
Yeah.
Like at such a, you know, at whatever level, subatomic or below, like just at whatever level, we literally change it. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to just jam out and talk nerd science, quantum mechanics, manifestation, making money, business, whatever. But let's hear your story. I'd love to understand where it is that you started from, and what kind of set you up on this journey. So
Yeah, awesome.
if you take us back, you know, I don't know many people that are talking about quantum and manifestation, and you know, normally. So how did you end up being this version of you? How's it going?
I'm not the best version yet, but I'm the best version right now. But thank you.
Yeah.
God, okay. So basically, in a nutshell, I think, you know, my story, I feel like I was kind of walking around blind my entire life up until about 30.
Yeah.
And basically, you know, it's like the typical spiritual awakening story where I was in a really tumultuous relationship. I was working in a job that I didn't really like. And to be honest, like, I didn't really want for much as a kid, because my dad actually built his business. He was went from a TV technician earning like $17,000 per annum, and then within 3-4 years grew a multi-million-dollar business. And as a 3-4-year-old, seeing that and just realizing, wow, understanding the programming that I would have seen as well. But my point is, we were really well looked after. And so for me, a successful life, what was drummed in from my parents was just find a good boy, get married, have kids. Ha ha, I'm a lesbian. Whoopsies, sorry about that. Right. And so, yeah. So for me, it was like, okay, good, get a good education, get a good job, and I was doing it. I had an accounting and finance degree. I was doing it, and I hit my rock bottom when my partner like broke up with me finally. If I think it was like the 7th time, and found myself just like, you know, basically thinking my life had no happiness or purpose without her. And I was like, is this what I've really amounted to at 30 years old? So that's when it all shifted. And I'm not going to go into like that, but basically in a nutshell, it was like, I have this theory that most people will float around their life at a 7 out of 10. I've got 7 out of 10 job, 7 out of 10 relationship, 7 out of 10 health. And there's not enough leverage, meaning pain, to want to actually do something about it. So I went from like a 7 out of 10 to like a -2 pain. Yeah. So all of a sudden, that fear of the unknown, that uncertainty, I didn't give a flying shit. I was ready to do whatever it took. So I took out a loan. I invested in TM. I invested in the coaching course. I quit my job. I started my business. I just went full out. Within a month, everything shifted. And so that's why I'm a big believer of radical change. But you gotta want your desire to be so much greater than you know, than the fear of the unknown. And when it's a 10 out of 10, it happens.
It's such a graveyard of dreams, isn't it? The comfort zone, you know, the good, the it's all right.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right?
You know, like I see a lot of us, right? You get to a place, your life's not bad, so you know you're not actually motivated to go through it. And so obviously you've expanded from that and helping other people through, you know, a similar journey. What's life like now? Like, give us a snapshot of, you know, what is it that you do?
Awesome. So within 2.5 years, I get to travel around the world spreading my message. I get flown around places to speak. I've run my own event, Raise Your Vibration, around Australia and taken it internationally. I'm doing my other event now, the Subatomic Shift. I live a freedom life where, like, freedom is in, there's literally no alarm clock. It's next level. And just working with amazing clients and helping them do the same. Engaged to my beautiful fiance. So
Yeah.
just such a resourceful, amazing relationship.
And that's Kelly, isn't it?
That's Kelly Bowen. Yeah.
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 I only found that out today. I was like,
There
I
you
was saying,
go.
oh, I'm talking to Alex, and Sam's like, oh, that's. I was like, oh,
Kelly's fiance. Yeah.
cool.
There you go. And like, I will tell, I'm not going to lie, being in I'm going to say the conscious relationship, it's like personal development on crack, right? You can't hide, so she's got 6-7 years of personal development under her belt too. And you literally can't hide, and you're constantly leveling up, and it's beautiful. The level of fulfillment. If you told me 2.5 years ago that this would be my life, the money I'm earning, the people I'm helping, the freedom from within and externally, I would have called you batshit crazy. That shit can't happen in 2.5 years. Are you joking me? Like, my limiting beliefs would have never thought this was possible. So for me, this is a dream come true, yet I haven't even reached a fraction of who I want to be. Isn't that funny? The vision just keeps expanding, keeps expanding.
It has to, doesn't it? It has to, truthfully. So, that's important. You mentioned TM, Transcendental Meditation. Tell us your journey around that, because to me, it's been something that I've studied and looked at, and I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, I think that was probably the number one game changer for me. I'd always kind of I went to meditation retreats, and I tried like the free apps and the YouTubes, and like a lot of things, pay no money, pay no attention. Pay a little bit of money, pay a little bit of attention. Pay a lot of money, pay a lot of attention. And paying the amount that I did to do this short course for TM, I was like, right, this has got to work. And it was right timing. It was everything. But for me, it just helped clear so much of that chitter chatter, so much of the ego, the low vibrations, you're not enough, you can't. And without that, I don't think I would have ever have, launched my workshop or spoken on stage or pushed past fears. And it just helps so much with that. I truly believe, Chris, without some sort of meditation, some sort of thing that transcends you, that you have that stillness, forget about the rest. Forget about the systems and the structures and the belief work and the all of it. I feel like rides on TM. And when you collapse that, it's like you're trying to program a head full of junk. You're making it hard for yourself. So if I have one thing to give to any listener right now, where do I start? Start meditating. Start meditating and see what comes up. That changed the game for me.
It's a big deal. It's a big subject for me as well, a big part of it. And so there's lots of different ones. Obviously, you can meditate and you can call in and listen to advice and channel and understand things. There's nice, you can just be quiet with yourself. TM, obviously, there's different sounds and different mantras and things. Then there's obviously dispensers type work where you're actually flooding your body with a specific emotion, this visualization. So there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
So why TM? You're like, hey, you got to start there. Why is that one for you the kind of one that
it worked for me? Okay. Well, in all honesty, probably I am a little bit biased because it is the one thing that worked for me. But for me, it's more the science behind TM specifically. It's not about being aware of thoughts or being the observer or visualizing, because that way you're actually still flooding your unconscious mind with images and feelings and it's still busy. So TM specifically, it really helps you transcend through anything. And what I like to call you kind of go into that deep sea of consciousness. And when you have even 5 seconds of that stillness, even for me, even if I have 5 seconds of mind gap where my my ego dissolves for that 5 seconds and I lose myself, the feeling of oneness and enoughness and wholeness and connection to self and source and universe is so freaking blissful and fulfilling that when we can create and take action from that space, that's the shit that goes viral. That's the shit that get leads, does that make sense? So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, creating that space. You talk about all the billionaires I've ever connected with, all the 100 millionaires. That the one thing is that that's where they play at. But if you look at true inspiration, the true artists, the true, like Nikola Tesla, the real genius is the one creating. They had to create space to actually allow themselves to connect and to bring through. I had a crazy experience. I was driving. I was driving along. I was listening to some energetics work. This was maybe 4 years ago, and 5 years ago, 2000. And what are we in? No, 6 years. Jeez, 6 years ago. And I'd kind of stopped my NLP business. I'd done that around Australia. I was traveling the States, and I went to this Matrix Energetics course. Anyway, so I'm listening to the CDs in this car, and I'm driving 90 miles an hour down this road. And it's crazy. So I'm listening it there on this little laptop because it's kind of a DVD thing. Suddenly the laptop shuts down, the car shuts down at 90 miles an hour. And I'm listening to real big stuff. Like I'm talking about quantum and manifestation. Listening, my car shuts down and I start channeling like crazy. It's why my whole business got created from this channel. And it's a crazy story because I take my hands off the steering wheel and put my hands over my ears. And I've just got this like crazy thing happening, Alex. It's going it says, free yourself, then free others, create freedom. And it was massive. And it yelled at me for whatever amount of time it was. And I put my hands back on the steering wheel and I kept on driving. And here's what's interesting.
Yeah.
And my listeners have heard this story before, so they know it. I know you haven't. There was no way for me to drive from LA, from LA to San Francisco in under 3 hours. It's not done. Yeah. But I got text message verification that I'd done it under 3 hours. I literally didn't stay in the same time reality.
You quantum leaped, mate.
I did it. And it was funny because the next thing I did is I came back, created this podcast and the show about freedom and to help everyone else. And I think that's why it exploded so big, the 130,000, blah, 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 all these people and all the listeners, massive thank you out there. I'm back,
how
2019.
Cool, and how cool is that when it is just so clearly guided? Like that stuff is like, that's next level for me. It's interesting that you say like it was impossible to do that in 3 hours and you've got physical proof. Like I haven't gone crazy as proof.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm actually starting to, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm starting to see little things in my life where and obviously my reticular activating system is more attuned to seeing these things now because I'm delving into the time and space collapsing and quantum shifting. But I will literally have a thought that I've sent an email when I haven't. There's no proof. It's not on my sent inbox, and someone has replied. Yeah. And there's no initial email, and they've responded to something that my thought vibration just sent. And I'm like, what? Wow. I didn't even send that email, and there's nothing there. I'm like, how is this happening? It's pretty cool.
When I really went down and started studying all of this stuff and understanding the different timelines that we can be on in any one moment, and the fact that we are just collapsing a wave function from intimate possibilities into our way of being, it became so much easier, And when I think everyone listening, when you hear this from us, it's not going to land until you do the work and understand it and have the experience, because it's not something that your conscious brain can actually consider could be possible, that we are quantum jumping. But here's what's interesting is we all make decisions throughout the day that leads us somewhere. And obviously time is just a measurement. Time doesn't exist. Therefore, we could have made different decisions to lead somewhere else. That person still exists on some plane.
Yeah, like the theory of there's a million different Earths at once, and you're on different Earths, and and it's like for me, I see myself jumping into different Earths all the time now, depending on what my dominant emotional frequency is. So, and whenever I find something like, oh, that doesn't feel good, or I had a little like tiff with, I'm not even a tiff with Kelly or something we don't agree with. I'm like, I'm not even going to charge this. So very easily going in and out of different Earths, and like so powerful when you choose what you want to charge and what you don't want to charge.
Let's talk about that, because bad stuff can happen. and I see a lot of spiritual bypassing, which I'm sure you're familiar with the term, where people won't look at the truth. And this happens a lot of the people I talk about. I say, all right, cool. So, what's going wrong? Like, what are you not happy with? Oh, nothing. Everything's good. Okay. Is it? And I know that they're living with their parents and that their business isn't working.
Yeah.
And so, there's the whole story of the secret focus on, what it is that you want. What's your stance on it? Where do you go with all of it?
With what specifically?
Well, what I mean specifically is the negativity.
Yeah.
Now, bad stuff happens. People get raped.
Yeah.
Someone gets killed.
Do we just ignore it and go, oh, everything's beautiful? Or do we?
What's your stance?
Big question.
Big one.
I think for me, if I look at like personally,
yeah,
it's so easy to charge a story that you don't want to. And I've been in like situations financially in my business where I thought, fuck, I want to quit. And I know that I can go into victim and charge that really easily. And there was a point in time where I was doing that. And so it's not about ignoring and not getting real with yourself, because in order to get to where you want to be, you need to have a cold hard reality check and be gut level honest with yourself. But at the same time, we don't want to keep charging that story. And I actually tell my clients to some degree, I want you for the next 90 days, ignore as much of reality as you can. Ignore your dwindling bank balance. Because you don't want to keep having that reaction, and to neurologically make a different association, we need to stop focusing on the absence of what you want and start doing the inner work. And if we're surrounded by anchors every single day that keeps reminding us of the old version and the real reality, it's going to be a really hard shift. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't know if I answered it right.
No, there's no right.
You know what I mean?
Who knows? I enjoy hearing other perspectives and other ways to look at things. I think it's a really interesting topic. It's almost as though they're choosing to be a new tree. They're choosing to create a newness.
Yeah. And I think also is really important is when I say taking a good cold hard look at yourself, looking at the unconscious behaviors and patterns that you have been playing out your entire life. So when I take my clients through the work and they're like, fuck, I've been a people pleaser, or I've been playing the victim card for this long, or I've been this, or I've been that, then they realize, and then they can actually do something about it and bring different conscious awareness to it. So they don't keep attracting the same partner. They don't keep attracting whatever it is.
Yeah. And that's important. If you don't look at the sabotage, you will not be able to. There is stuff to fix.
Yeah.
There is, and focusing on what you want is a really important part of it.
I did love something I saw on your wall the other day. So I never saw it that way. Oh, Kelly's lovely cat decided to join us. Hello. You said something about when people say I'm going to heal myself, that is assuming that you're broken.
Oh, someone else posted a quote of mine. Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. It's an important thing. I see a lot of people who are, they are reaffirming the identity that there is something they need to change about themselves. And so they go to a personal development workshop. And what happens is they find things that they can change about themselves, and it feels good. Oh, look, the reason why I'm not a millionaire is because of this thing. Oh, cool. It gives them a reason and it gives them an excuse. So they start pulling on the thread to heal themselves.
Right.
And then they heal that, and then they go back, and again, they don't get what they want, and there's always a thing to heal.
Yeah.
And it turns into this never-ending cycle, because the identity that they're living is that they're broken.
Yeah.
And that's just not a truth, it's just not a truth. And so I see it. In fact, I posted on my page the other day, and I said, who here is making great money, loving their life, and impacting the world, right? And all these people typed, yeah, me, yeah, me, yeah, me. And then one person was like, I wish. And, this person did
I saw
healer.
that. I was like, do I comment? No, restrain yourself.
And it was like, wow, okay, cool. Well, that helped her. That helped her see something that she was affirming. And so, it's an important thing that sometimes you've got blocks. But the truth is that if you keep looking, guess what? You'll keep finding them, because you're creating, as you said, creating your reality.
And it goes back to as well, like, people think it's like manifesting. It's set an intention and take the action, and it's so much more than that, because even when we have these killer morning routines, and let's say you do meditate, let's say you do your gratitude rant or diary, and you've got a couple of really cool tools that put you in that beautiful headspace in the morning. I'm not poo-pooing that. That's amazing. But that's really just step one, because it's like, where are you spending the other 90% of your day? Yeah. What are you talking about? What are you thinking? What's your dominant vibration for the rest of the day? So please don't tell me that I'm trying to build my business. I'm doing the routine, Alex. I'm doing my gratitude rant, and I haven't made any sales. Yeah, because of the rest of the day, you're probably freaking out, worrying, stressing, and you're in scarcity, you're in lack, you're in fear. And so that's where the work is. That's where the work is, looking at, okay, anything that's over 10% of my conditioning, and that's where my limit is, that's where I got to go. That's what I got to step to the edge every single day and push past that and try to show up as someone different, have those uncomfortable conversations. Kelly always likes to call growth. Growth isn't meditating or showing up to the webinar. Growth is having the difficult conversation. It feels like you're doing a backwards poo sometimes, but that's when you're growing. It feels clunky when this feels gross. Like, that's the growth. And I want people to reframe what growth actually means, because next time you find yourself in a situation where you are triggered or emotional or having that uncomfortable conversation, boom, you're growing right now. This is you growing. So that's a really powerful way to reframe when something comes up that feels kind of gross.
I like it. I got another interesting question, just to take this in a different angle, and that's, if you were to go back 20 years, let's go 15 years to that teenage version of you, that young woman, and starting out on her journey, back at the beginning, what would you say to her?
So it would have been 15 years ago. That's a really good question, Chris. And in all honesty, I feel like I would tell her, honey, you're not really going to know who you are until about 30. And until then, like, enjoy life. Stop thinking when you find something, it's the thing. Literally, like, be you. Don't ever feel bad about, like, your energy and how passionate you are and how out there you are, because, honey, one day that energy is going to make you a lot of money. So, and it's going to be your purpose, and is what helps activate people. So I would just tell her to just keep enjoying life and explore and adventuring, and not put too much pressure on herself. Yeah, to be honest.
Nice. Such powerful advice. Your 20s are a tough time of trying on different hats, and I think that we
I was trying to turn myself straight in my 20s still.
Oh, that'd be difficult. Try to be someone successful.
You're not. Yeah.
No, you gave it a go though.
I did. I got a one-way ticket to Greece. I brought home a man. I tried, Chris. I really did.
It's funny, isn't it? We all try to be other things.
Yeah.
And it's part of it. And so if anyone's listening and they've tried on, different things that aren't them, it's part of exploring. So then and I always say that to people. It's like, you don't know until you've done it and tried it that it's not you. Yeah. Yeah. So that's fun. Not that I'm trying to tell everyone to try to explore all different types of sexuality if they know it's not them. But giving themselves permission to actually
you know, enjoy life. And if you haven't found your thing yet or your purpose or whatever it is, like the best advice is like, keep trying new things, keep taking action, keep like action precedes clarity. It's not, oh, I now know, now I'm going to take the action. It's, you know, if it's what I've learned from through business is the more action I take, the clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer the journey gets.
That's true. The other part of the question, starting from scratch today, how would you move forward? What would you do?
Yeah, cool. So when you say starting from scratch, do you mean
Everything.
like I've gone down to zero, my bank
You're
balance?
wiped out, no relationship. Like you are wiped out. You are like your whole life we just got an eraser and we just got rid of it, and it's
but
just
hang on, I've got
it's just you. That's it.
brain.
It's just you.
Okay.
You're placed in a new world.
Okay.
And you've got nothing. You're starting from scratch. Everyone you know is dead.
No. Okay.
You're starting from scratch.
All right. So honestly, like if I'm looking from what the smartest thing is, like I know for me, money is like oxygen, and in order to, you know, to sort of not even just survival mechanism, but to spread your message and to be the person I want to be. For me, I would keep doing what I'm passionate about and use the knowledge that I've used, and I'd probably do something really, I mean, for me, it's basic now. Do a challenge, do free videos on, I'm assuming in this world is Facebook, and I'm assuming this world still needs the vibration to be raised, okay? So I'm assuming there's the same vibration on this new planet. So I'd put out videos, I'd put out content, and I'd probably, I hate this word, I'd get my hustle on, I'd get on the phones, I'd do a really cool challenge, and I'd just bring all that energy and passion on. I don't want to give a shit about polished or perfect or any of that. I'd just be real, authentic, sloppy me, and probably talk about my journey that I've plummeted to zero, and use that as my pain to power story. To be honest, I'd probably monetize that, Chris.
Good. I love it. So what's next for you? Like, I know we're going to jump on and do some more and dive deep into all sorts. I've got written down here. But you've got your, you tell us a bit about the Subatomic Shift events, why people should head to it, and where they can go, those sort of things. That'd be good.
Cool. So I'm doing, an event, the Subatomic Shift in Melbourne, Gold Coast and Sydney in February from the 3rd till the 17th. Basically, it's just like a half-day workshop and just really going down the rabbit hole of everything we were sort of speaking to at the beginning, Chris, around quantum physics, the observer effect, how to actually shift realities, stop doing all over yourself, instead of do to have the thing to be happy. It's be, do, have, and really going behind the mechanics of this and what it takes. So taking them through my formula that had me shift from doing all over myself, because for me it got to a stage where I had the best systems and structures and built my marketing machine so beautifully, and things kind of weren't going to the next level, and I was like, why? And so universe kind of kept on smacking me in the face. And at this event, I kind of share with people, if they're at a point in their life where they think, oh, I'm at 20K or 50K and I have to break myself to get to that 100K, I want to teach them what I have to do, which is completely energetic, not strategic at all, to get to that new level. And that's what I'm really, really, really passionate about. It's going to be a little bit out there. We're going to be talking about activating dormant DNA, recoding and decoding wealth identity, time and space collapsing. So it's going to be pretty out there, conscious channeling, but fuck it. If you feel called and you know you need to be in the room, then come join.
Nice. I love it. I'm looking forward to next time that we chat or talking about how you measure activating dormant DNA, because I'm a scientist. So I want to know. I want to challenge and understand what that shit is.
Awesome.
But hey, this is awesome. And so listeners, go check out what Alex is doing. If it resonates, go. Follow your heart, take action. The best thing you can do is be surrounded by others that are on a mission and doing big things. And that sounds like an absolutely brilliant event, even just absorbing what's there and understanding it. So I highly recommend that you guys go. I haven't been, but I sure should check it out at some point. It sounds like you're doing some big things. And
I'll come
I
to
think,
your event, you come to mine. How about that?
yeah, come along, come along. We've got lots happening that you would love. We've got our big speaker training event, how to get the big stages. Lots happening this year
Awesome.
because the big stages are where you need to be.
Yeah.
But guys, this is fun. So thanks for subscribing. If you want to follow Alex, I'll get all your social channels and everything else so that they can follow you. I'll put that under here. And hey, what a pleasure. This was good.
Me too. I
This
had
was
a lot
good.
of fun.
It feels like we
Chris.
just
Thank
swum
you.
across the surface.
It
Sorry.
was good. I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to dive deeper next time.
Yeah. I've got notes of stuff for next time because there's a lot to go into going down.
Yeah.
That I don't feel I've been able to do on this show before. And so listeners, if you're coming back since 2016, we're going to have people coming back more often, and we're going to go deep. We're going to go into big stuff, and it's going to be fun. So thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Cheers.